forward to this video. It was supposed to be released start of this year. However, due to complications caused by me putting a Sam Smith song in, and I didn't realise that Sam Smith bans his songs from being used on YouTube, well, at least his producer or something does. It was constantly muted. I've now done some research using the YouTube video audio creator to figure out what songs I can put in. I found out that Avalanche City is able to be put in, so I've got that put in. The reason why it took so long was my Final Cut Pro trial expired just as I was uploading this video, so I couldn't edit the video again and I was stuck with that song, so the second I put it on YouTube it was muted. However, I've done some creative editing with iMovie because Final Cut Pro is $400 here, and I use the money for to build my one of my i7 computers rather than buy Final Cut. Yeah, so I've done some creative editing, basically splitting the clip, taking the song out and putting in another song, so it's not brilliant. This video was also filmed with my Fujifilm camera, so it's nowhere near as good looking as my new videos. Another thing is my iMac is back functioning perfectly fine now. And also this video didn't turn out quite as well as I'd hoped it would due to a couple of things. An eBay seller hopefully accidentally sending me a damaged screen, which I never kind of responded back about, which is technically my fault, but oh well, I'll just take the loss. Hopefully some people enjoy it, however it's not my best video.
I remember a conversation at a restaurant with a friend of mine. It is success.
Hello YouTube, this is another video by Grant Macintosh 1. Today we have the first part of the late 2009 iMac restoration. I know it's been a while, but I've finally got my stuff together and I've managed to get this iMac here, which is a donor. This iMac is a mid-2011 21.5 inch i5 quad-core iMac. I bought it for $77. It had a fried motherboard. I've completely stripped it. I've taken the power supply out of it to fix my iMac over there, which is just testing out its screen because this one came with everything apart from the hard drive. And the screen, I'm happy to report, is a great screen. So the screen that's currently in that iMac is out of that one. And it's a bloody good screen. In fact, it's almost better than the one in my iMac to start off with. So my iMac is now fully working, and more importantly, this one has got a power supply because it can take its power supply back, because my one's been borrowing its power supply. This one now has a decent case because of the dent and the fact that this completely fell off. The Bluetooth board, etc., has completely come off this iMac. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to be trying to swap a 2009 iMac into a 2011 iMac case. I don't know if it's going to work. I know for a fact that the first thing I'm going to have to bodge job is this, which is the Wi-Fi card and board, which on this is not there. It goes in the motherboard, so I'm going to have to change that. Hopefully it'll fit. I might have to make some modifications. In terms of the exterior of the cases, this one's in much worse condition than the other one. The other one looks pretty much new compared to this one, which is gunky and bent and old. The first physical difference you can see is on the ports. This one has a, let me focus it, this one has a mini display port, unlike this one, which is a 2011 iMac, so it has the Thunderbolt port. However, it shouldn't make a difference. They're the same size, same port. The only difference is it'll say Thunderbolt there, even though it's not a Thunderbolt port. This iMac was living out by the sea, and unfortunately water got inside of it. Well, not water, but basically it corroded. The motherboard corroded a little bit, and that was enough to kill it. So this is going to be a video of me swapping that iMac's motherboard in to this, and in the end we should have a functioning iMac without glass and missing one temperature sensor. So this is going to be fun. Here are the collection of parts. We have the Western Digital 3TB WD Green, which was used for about an hour in my iMac, but then I upgraded to a 4TB. So it's got an operating system on it already, so you shouldn't need to do any installing. We have not the same power supply. This is I'm going to put a power supply. The power supply that's going to go in it is currently in my iMac. This one's going in my iMac. So the story behind my iMac was I touched the power supply twice by accident and fried it when I was taking it to bits, and that hurt, and that fried the power supply. So this power supply is going in that iMac, and the one in there is going back to where it came from, which is this iMac. And then finally I'm swapping the motherboard into that iMac. Right, let's start with motherboard removal. I have my anti-static stuff this time. Sweet. I don't usually use anti-static stuff, but I may as well for this. Just so I don't have any people calling me up and saying, hey, you broke my $3,000 computer because I followed your guide and didn't use anti-static precautions and screwed it up. Right, well, let's ground this up to the case. Luckily, because this case is rubbish, I can just scratch it. Right. Firstly, I need to find my torque screwdriver. Here it is. Right. Let's start. Well, this iMac has been apart a couple of times before. Fell straight out the bottom. Funny. Right. One screw there. So this iMac here cost me $42.50. It has a 3.06 gigahertz Intel Core 2 Duo. I think it's an E70. Yeah, it's an E7600. Socket LGA 775, upgradable of course. It has 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM. It has a 3 terabyte hard drive, which isn't in it yet. 3 terabyte hard drive is just sitting there. 205 watt power supply, which is pretty manga. Let's remove this. Well, first let's remove the cable for the card reader. See, some things like the card reader and perhaps the speakers may have to be transferred over to the 2011 iMac's case, because I don't know how much is going to work, because they are very similar machines, but then again, you know, I could finish and then see that the power button is a different connector, and then I'm screwed, because if the power button's a different connector, I don't think I can transfer the power button over. So oh, there's a little arrow there, a little arrow designating that that's a screw that I should take out, which it was. Okay, this is almost free, so not a screw there. Technically this isn't grounded, still isn't correctly grounded because I need to plug it into a power jack, but I can't bother doing that. This is good enough. It doesn't even have a power supply on it, so right, let's remove this fan. There we go. Disconnect this fan, little blower fan. Next is making sure you haven't got any cables still connected. You are still connected. Okay, you are. I'll just do that later. Right. There's another screw down there. One thing that I found while working on computers over the years is that if it doesn't come out, if you're pulling on it and it doesn't come out, don't just keep pulling. Check again for some screws. See, there we go. Because the amount of times, especially when I was doing this years ago, when I was a lot younger, the amount of times that I've destroyed a screw mount or wrecked a computer because I didn't look for, oh, you know what, I should remove the RAM. Noob mistake. Now see, this is what happens when you forget that your computer has RAM. Right. 2, 4, 6, and 8 gigs of RAM. Right, pull you out. Oh, this will also have an optical drive going back into it because it has a spare one. Well, the other iMac I bought came with an optical drive. Let's lift this up. Okay, well, instantly I can see that I'm going to have to transfer over the motherboard power cable because it's different. Here's the 2009 iMac motherboard out of the computer. There's the desktop socket, LGA775 CPU socket. That's about it. There's the chipset with the NVIDIA 9400M integrated graphics card, and it's rather dusty. Let's give it a clean while it's out. Now I can disconnect anti-static precautions because there's nothing left to damage. Right, I have moved the motherboard out of this computer, and I've just had a look and compared these two, and from what I can see, this motherboard power here is a 14 pin connector, and on here it's a 6 pin connector, which means I'm going to have to transfer this cable. The Wi-Fi is not in the same place as that, but I should be able to do it fine. Shouldn't have too much trouble with that. Also, that has triple antennas, this only has 2. That shouldn't be an issue because I'll just plug in 1 and 2 and just leave the other one dangling. It shouldn't make a difference. Right, when I take this out, it's likely that the, maybe not, I think the entire top section of this computer is going to fall out because it's really, there's a Wi-Fi card on the PCB. Right, now the power cable. Now this is going to be, maybe not, maybe it won't be. I'm going to have to remove that power board as well. May as well, because they are slightly different power board designs. May as well keep the 2009 iMac power board with it, just to avoid any issues. Here we go, the power board. Okay, you're going to come out. There we go. There's the power board for the LCD monitor. And let's disconnect. Oh, yep, thought so. That's just fallen off. Disconnect this. And now we have the power cable, which involves the serial ATA power, and that is the inverter power, well, not the inverter, the power board power. That is the power to the power supply, or the connection to the power supply. That end, and that ends the one to the motherboard. Right. Any of these cables different? I think these are to the Bluetooth board. Yes, they definitely are. Right, the Bluetooth board and the camera have different connectors on them, so I'm going to steal this one's, rip that tape off. Right, so that is to the camera, so I have to take this one's camera and mic. Okay, this one's mic is a bit messed up, so I might have to do some, oh maybe not, maybe the mic's a different thing. Right, so there's the webcam, the iSight camera. That is going to go here. Hey, I may be able to reuse the one in here. I don't know if there's any difference between them. I think one of them's probably slightly better than the other one. Right, this is okay, this is the Bluetooth board, held in by a single screw. And I had to take this as well because once again it's a slightly, yeah. This is why this iMac is giving a new case, this kind of shizzle. Oh, yep, there we go. Right, Bluetooth board. And here we go. We have the, you know what? Let's just totally remove this from the equation just to get it out of the way. There's a mic as well. Let's compare the microphones on them to see if there are any different connectors while I'm here, just to avoid issues. Now I'm going to move this power supply which is sitting over here because this is just going to shock something. Right, mic. And you come down here, that. Nope, it's exactly the same connector. We can reuse that one's. We can reuse that one's mic. That'll be fine. Need to reposition the camera a bit. Okay, fans. That's the same. That's a temperature sensor. I'm going to take this out. Another thing is the temperature sensors are slightly different between these models, so I'm going to have to remove them. Oh, there's a little plastic clip down here. Okay. Sellotape everywhere. Let's see, I'm going to need some pliers to get down there. Right, just need some pliers to pull that. I can pull this out. Yep. And then this should be pretty simple in getting that off. Even though this case is garbage, I still feel a little bit bad about screwing it up any more than it already is. That is an important temperature sensor. It's the hard disk. No, it's not hard disk drive. It's a CPU temperature sensor, or something like that. This isn't needed. The speakers are identical. However, I think they're identical. However, they may be worse on this. No, better on the 2009 and worse on the 2011. I'll just do a check, and if they are better on this model, I'll switch them over. Right, next, power button. Please be the same. It's the same. Right. That's great. Don't need to screw around with the power button. SD card reader. SD card reader is different on both ends. Right, so I need to switch them over. Right, so time to remove this thing's SD card reader. This will be funny because if this iMac ever ends up anywhere else apart from in my possession, people are going to wonder, you know, this is the 2009 iMac with a serial number of a 2011 iMac with a screen from America. It was the screen I ordered, which unfortunately is very badly yellowed, and I wasn't able to get any money back, but I'm a bit resentful about that, but that's, oh well, you know, you win some, you lose some. The screen is from Washington, DC, which I found quite cool. Okay, you lining up? Yep, you lined up. Right, so let's attach this with a screw. There we go. So this now has the 2009 iMac's SD card reader on it. Now let's remove the power cable from this iMac, which is no longer needed. There we are. Here's the 2009 iMac's power cable. It's over here. And me, it's over here. That is a magical mystery thing. That's the thing that needs to come out. Right, this needs to come out because it's unusable. Which includes... I wonder if the Bluetooth board connections themselves are the same. Because if they are, I'll be able to use the more modern Bluetooth board. I think they are. Yep. Yep, they're the same. Right, so I don't need to replace the Bluetooth board at all. I just need to switch out the cable with the one from the older iMac. Right, that's now plugged in, so this iMac now has functioning Bluetooth. Now to take the camera off. If the camera also has the identical cable, the difference is the cable on the 2009 one is separate and the cable on the 2011 one is routed through the same wire. They end up going from different sources all to the same plug. Move the camera. Okay. Let's check something. What was the 2009's camera? There we go. You know what? That's the same connector, so once again, instead of replacing it, just in case it's any better, I'm going to just plug this cable. Actually, maybe not, it's a different cable. Yep, doesn't matter, it's a slightly different cable. I thought it was the same one, but it doesn't matter. Right, so let's plug this in. Oh boy, there's the phone, I'll be back in a second. Where were we? If I remember correctly, yep, the camera. Right, so this is the 2009 camera and the 2009 connector, and I'm about to... Right, first I have to remove this camera connector, which means removing this bit of tape. Ooh, that encompasses quite a lot. Please be a separate cable. Sweet, that's a separate cable. That will be the ambient temperature sensors there, I'd say. I'll pull this piece of tape off as well. Oh, that's still attached up there as well. Okay. This isn't quite as easy as I was hoping it would be. I was hoping it'd just be a quick swap kind of thing, but it's not. Oh well. This means longer videos. I'm sure no one's complaining about that. Right. That's that one. Now, there is a small torque screw up there. Is there anything on this one? No, I don't think so. Right, that's a temperature sensor of some sort. I could either snap it off or I could go and find my small torque thing and remove it. I'm going to do the latter. There we go. There's bits of iMacs all over my floor right now. I can barely walk in this room. Right, please be small enough. No, it's not small enough. No, it's not small enough. Either I could... Oh wait, no, it's not that. There we go. Got it. Well, that was the temperature sensor. Right. On to the next thing. This doesn't have any glass at the moment. That's one thing. It will not have any glass. I need to get glass for it. Right, let's put the camera. That's a temperature sensor. Let's reinstall the camera. In the end, we should have a 2009 iMac that works, minus glass, but it does work. Everything, it'll have a yellowed screen, it will not have glass. But unlike before, it'll actually work. And the reason these videos took so long is because I realised, well, unfortunately my iMac had a dead power supply, so I nicked the power supply from the 2009 one, therefore it couldn't work at all. You know, there was no way to turn it on, so I was thinking, oh well, I'll postpone these until I get another power supply, but now I have this one, I've got another power supply, so I can actually put the 2009 one's power supply back into it. Right, so we now have the 2009's, that's installed, Bluetooth's installed. Let's reroute these under the tape they were originally routed through. There we go. Oh, that's terrible. There we go. Dusty as heck. Oh boy. Right, you know what? Time to route the power cable. Now, this power cable is thicker than the previous one, however it should still fit. Right. Okay, up you go. Okay, it's definitely a lot thicker than the other one. As I said though, should still fit. That's a large should, unfortunately. It's more of a very slim chance. Oh god. This is not easy. Can I possibly flick that little tab up anymore? Yes I can. I need to find a flathead screwdriver so I can flick that tab up and clip the cable underneath it. That'll do. Okay. Flicking that up. Pushing this. There we go. That's what I needed. And hopefully that stays like that. This computer is going to end up being the family computer. We haven't had a family computer as such for a while. I've had a gaming computer downstairs, an AMD 8-core thing, but never had, well, not never, but haven't in a while, had a proper family computer that everyone can use. Mainly because everyone's... Where's my phone? Mainly because everyone has... I better respond to that actually. Mainly because everyone has laptops and I have desktops. But, yeah, right. Well, that's now running through there. Okay, so that's now done. Anything else obvious that I need to put in? Because I'm going to try installing the motherboard now. And see what fits and what doesn't. Right, I need some time to do this, so I'm just going to pause the video and then come back when the motherboard is installed. Ports are basically lined up in the new case. They're not screwed in yet, so they're not 100% perfect, but it looks like it's going to work. Much better condition than the old one. It's got a couple of scratches around here. That's not too bad compared to this thing, which is dented. If I pick it up. Dirty, which won't come off. Right, it is now about 4 hours after I started this. This job was horrendous. I do not recommend trying to put a 2009 iMac in a 2011 case. I thought there'd be a few issues, but in reality there were a ton of issues. I had to totally, well, either I had to change the screen bracket over here, which is impossible, or completely mangle the side of the case, all the plastics that were in the wrong place, because the 2011 iMac has 3 antennas, the 2009 only has 2, so it doesn't have the gap for the antenna mount. Basically this 2011 case will never hold the 2011 iMac again. It will only do this weird 2009 setup. But this is the first boot. I haven't booted this before. There's still 2 temperature sensors missing. I'm expecting the fans to come on really loud. It should boot up into OS 10. The screen should be yellowed. There's no optical drive, but this is the first boot. Here we go. The 2009 iMac is away. It's functioning. I cannot believe it after all the crap that this has been through. It's functioning. It's actually functioning. Oh, okay. What did I have to change? I had to change the webcam, all the brackets. I had to remove some plastic from over this side to get the GPU to fit in. Remove some plastic over this side to get the screen to fit in. I had to change the audio jacks because the cable wasn't the right width, or wasn't the right length actually. I had to change, here we go, USB's working, all the ports line up, which is good. And once this loads, max fan control should kick in and we should have quiet. In a couple of seconds we should have quiet. There we go. And let's have a look at our specs. OS 10 Yosemite, version 10.10.1, iMac 21.5 inch late 2009 with a 3.06 GHz Intel Core Duo, 8 gigs 1067 DDR3 RAM, NVIDIA GeForce 9400 256 megs, built-in 21.5 inch 1920 by 1080 display, and a 3TB solid disk hard drive. I cannot believe it. It's correctly functioning. It's running. Let's see if the audio jack that I installed worked. No horrendous buzzing. Oh, we have Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi wasn't working. Cool, we have Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi wasn't working when I had this going a couple of months ago. I had it going for about a day a couple of months ago, and then I had to put its power supply on my iMac, so... Oh yeah, it doesn't have a V-Sync cable either, so there's a loud buzzing noise, or a high-pitched noise from the screen if it's turned up high brightness. Like, I don't know if you can hear it, but it goes away there. That's actually quite funny. In real life, this screen is almost totally dark. However, on the iPhone, it appears to be almost, you know, sort of half brightness, and I can barely see the screen. It's funny how little adjustment. Okay, let's go. Let's play a short clip of this, see if the audio jack's working. Oh yes, it is. There you go. Oh yeah. Well, it worked. I'm amazed. It's worked. I am absolutely amazed. I cannot believe it. So, what are my plans for this? Well, my plans for this are I'm going to be getting glass. In fact, let me put some glass on it right now just for lols, because I have some spare glass lying around. How amazing is this? That was a wreck this morning, and it's totally fixed. Well, I just inspected it visually. Yeah, that screen's not too bad. $350 screen though. Right. The only issues I've found so far is the glass doesn't quite shut there. That will be to do with the camera placement. There's some paint on the back of this iMac case, but I'll remove that. And the glass isn't quite shutting there, but that's once again due to the plastic I had to remove. It's not quite flush. But this is now a completely functioning iMac, minus the fact that it's running in a safe mode due to the missing temperature sensors. So I think in part 2 we'll be installing the temperature sensors. We'll be installing new temperature sensors. We'll be checking performance scores. We'll be installing Windows. We'll be installing the optical drive, and we'll be sourcing glass, because this is my iMac's glass, and I have another glass panel, but it's going to my friend who also has the same iMac as me, except his one's got a crack running straight through the glass from an idiot technician who tried to open it with a screwdriver. Right, while I'm here, we may as well check to make sure everything's functioning correctly. Right, let's open up Photo Booth. Obviously, as I said, it's not performing to its maximum because it doesn't have some temperature sensors. Hello, camera is functioning. We have system report. Let's have a look. No ATA devices, that's correct. The audio is showing up. Bluetooth device is showing up. Camera showing up. Card reader showing up. That passed. No disk burning because the DVD drive's not in. There is one for it, just sitting right here. That will be going in it in the next episode of this. Ethernet card is there. Fiber channel isn't because there isn't any. Firewire is there because it's correct. Displays is there because that's also correct. We have the right graphics card and the right resolution. No hardware RAID. Memory still showing up. PCI, nothing there. Parallel SCSI, nothing there either. Power, that's all correct. No printers, well there are printers, but SAS doesn't tell any SAS devices. SATA, we have an NVIDIA chipset and we have the 3TB hard drive. No device, no SPI devices, 3TB storage drive, no Thunderbolt and USB. Right, so in the next episode we will be installing the optical drive, fixing the little issues with the glass. Well, there won't be any glass, but we'll be trying to remedy any obvious issues with the glass. I'll be taking you for a tour around the inside of it, showing you what I did. And one of the funny things I did was, these 2009 iMacs have a different way of mounting their Wi-Fi cards to the 2011 ones. The 2011 ones have them about here, and they just clip into the motherboard like this. The 2009 one has it up here, and it's screwed into the chassis. So what I did was because this one originally had an MXM GPU, the 2011 one, which is sitting over there currently, I got the screw hole from the MXM GPU, put a screw through it, and put the Wi-Fi board for that used to be here over here, because if it was here, that'd be into, and there's no mounts for it. So I put it over here and plugged 2 of the Wi-Fi antennas into it. I had to cut the third one because it was in the way of the screen over here. But yeah, I'm going to now edit and upload this video from this iMac. Ciao!
One day my hand caught onto yours, and one day I rise, unfocus the world. Beneath your hand and up her feet on the sand, and the voice in our head said just to go. So we go, and we go where we are, we don't know, but I'm ready to start running to race home.